And welcome back. Will Meyer, the movie guy, is with us to talk about some of the top movies he's seen lately in theaters. I'm hearing good things about Booksmart.
Yeah, it's really, really good. This movie came out yesterday, and it's a coming-of-age movie I've really been looking forward to. It stars Beanie Feldstein and Caitlin Dever. They're these two girls who find that they've really worked too much and played too little in high school, and so they decide to cram 4 years worth of fun into their last night of high school. And so it's kind of being marketed as the female version of Superbad, and there's a lot of truth in advertising there because this is a movie that's silly, it's fun, it's raunchy, but it's heartfelt and a little wise too. And it's not breaking the mold. This movie has a lot of the classic scenes you've seen in a lot of high school movies, from the big blowout party at the end to the confessing of love to the big crush to the fight with the best friend. But this movie consistently finds ways to put a fresh spin on that and make it seem fresh and exciting. And most importantly, it consistently generates laughs. This movie is so funny. I laughed out loud so many times during this film. I think that it's really witty. You've got great jokes, really great characters too. There are 3 or 4 supporting characters in this movie too that are just hysterical.
Yeah, there's nothing better than a high school movie, honestly.
Yeah.
There's so many classics, and then even on Netflix, and I saw her Yale sweatshirt. And
Yeah.
that was funny.
I think this movie will be one of the classics eventually too. So it's just really good, and it's got great performances from these 2 leads, and they have great chemistry. That's actually why it works the best, I think, is it really invests in their friendship, and it feels like a real friendship. And so I would go back to see this movie multiple times. It's really, really good.
Cool. That's good to know. And then John Wick. Right?
John Wick 3, yeah, this is another one that's a big action movie. It's the 3rd installment in the franchise. If folks, if you're not familiar with this movie, or with this franchise, it's about a guy who was a hitman. He was retired, but then these gangsters killed his dog, and so he came out of retirement to track them down. And in the 2nd movie, he had a bounty on his head, and he killed lots of bad guys, and it's kind of more of the same in this one. You don't go see this movie for the plot. You see it for the action. It's for the brilliantly choreographed action set pieces and fight scenes, and I really like those first 2 films because of that, but I wasn't looking forward to this one that much just because I thought there's no element of surprise here, and while that turned out to be true, I was surprised by how entertained I was by this movie. I think that the director and Keanu Reeves really thought, how do we top ourselves here? And I think that they did it. I mean, the stunt work in this movie is extraordinary. I said wow multiple times just while watching this film. It just really, it'll just blow your mind. I can imagine Tom Cruise sitting there watching this movie and thinking, I've really got to step up my game for the next Mission Impossible movie because it's just so impressive and really enjoyable. This movie is 2 hours and 15 minutes. It has no business being that long, but I was entertained for every minute of it. So yeah, if you're an action junkie, check this out. If you didn't like the first 2, you're probably not gonna like this one, but if you did like the first 2, you'll like this one.
Cool. And okay, so the 3rd one is Launch Shot. I've seen the previews for this too, and the previews make me laugh.
Yeah,
so
it's funny. This is a movie that stars Seth Rogen and Charlize Theron. Seth Rogen plays Seth Rogen's character, the same guy he plays in every movie pretty much, this kind of schlubby journalist, and he ends up meeting up with his childhood crush, who is played by Charlize Theron, and she is making a presidential run, and she ends up hiring him to be a speechwriter, but surprisingly, sparks start to fly. It's a movie that resembles a typical Seth Rogen movie in many ways. This movie is crude, it's raunchy, you've got a lot of physical comedy and pop culture references, but what surprised me was how romantic this movie was, and that's the hard work for the filmmakers here, is to make you believe that Charlize Theron's character would fall in love with Seth Rogen's character, and you mostly believe it in this movie. They have really good chemistry, and there were a couple of moments in this movie that were really, really romantic. I saw a couple of tears being shed in the audience when I watched it, so that was really surprising, and I think that it works pretty well. The story, not so much. It's kind of phony here and a bit preachy too, but overall, I was rooting for Seth Rogen and Charlize Theron to fall in love. It worked, and it's got a lot of laughs too, so it's worth checking out.
Yeah, and you know, people love Seth Rogen for his comedy. He does play a similar character many times. But Charlize Theron is a phenomenal actress.
Oh, she's amazing, yeah.
I mean, she does action, she does comedy, she does drama. It's like,
and she's very funny here too. She definitely holds her own with him. So, and there's a reason he plays the same character in every movie for the past 15 years. It's because it works. It's funny, and so it's funny here too.
Yeah, and I guess it makes money. So,
yeah.
Well, cool. Thank you so much, Will Meyer.
Yeah,
and
thanks for having me.
For more, you can kind of check out his Facebook page.
Yeah. You can go to Will Talk Movies on Facebook or Twitter and find more reviews there.
All right.